Welcome back, everybody. Youngzers, episode 8. Not too often that we get to discuss a game after it happens, day of, as of recent. I think it's week 4. So this has been the maybe second time this year we've been able to do that. And I think every time we've had to, it hasn't turned out too well for the Steelers. I think the first one was week 1, right?
Yes.
So maybe it's bad luck for us to talk same day about the Steelers. But
Oh,
today, absolute crap show.
it wasn't
hold,
a
hold,
crap show. That's an insult to crap shows. Before I get Dan, please go ahead.
Good,
Yeah,
good.
right now.
You have the floor. Good.
Well, I'm not happy about it.
Oh, that's fine.
The Texans,
Oh,
a whole backup offensive line, a rookie quarterback. You have Batman and Robin on defense. You have an all-pro safety. You got one of the best defenses in the league, and they hang what 30 on you.
30.
Levi Wallace could not cover Nico Collins. I never thought I'd see a Steeler game where Nico Collins would pick them apart. No offense to Nico Collins, but you expect that from a Jamar Chase kind of guy, Cooper Cup, whatever. What I am sick of, and it is Matt Canada, but it's not Matt Canada right now. It's not Terrell Austin. You know who I'm upset with, Dan? And I'm starting it right now.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
Team unprepared for an away game against the Houston Texans, who absolutely embarrassed you in every facet of the game. I don't care that he's never had a losing season. The last time he won a playoff game was because Vontaze Burfict tried to literally kill Antonio Brown. If there was an attempted homicide on the field, Mike Tomlin would not have won that game. If someone didn't try and kill Joey Porter, was it Pac-Man Jones going after
Yes.
Joey Porter?
And ended up hitting the ref. Yes, he put his hands on the ref. So that's why they threw the flag.
You were gifted that win. And I'm sick of him coming into his weekly press conference. I'm not going to apologize for a victory. You know what you should apologize for? Not running a play in the Houston Texans territory in the whole first half. Having 4 first downs the whole half. And the problem is Mike Tomlin is the one who hires these coordinators, who fires these coordinators. Brian Flores did a great job with the defense last year. You can say it was Terrell Austin. Brian Flores has the background. He's been a defensive coordinator in the league before, been a head coach before. He's in Minnesota now as the defensive coordinator. I mean, he has the pedigree. Terrell Austin doesn't. Matt Canada, he got run out of LSU. They were horrible down there, and then you decide to bring him up here to what looks to be regress Kenny Pickett, who don't even get me started on Kenny Pickett. If he tore his shit, he tore his shit. But I'm sick of Mike Tomlin spewing all this bullshit at his press conferences. Own up for it. This should be the game where you're looking at it. If you want to be the smartest guy in the room, Mike Tomlin, you're in the wrong room, number one. That just shows that you're a little scared that your job security might not be safe. I don't know. If there's someone smarter in the room, you have to be the smartest guy there. Whatever. That was an absolute calling it a dud of a game would be an insult to a dud of a game. I just lost about 3 hours of my life that I'll never get back. I didn't think I would ever be kind of glad to see Mitch Trubisky in a quarterback, but here I am right now. Kenny Pickett has looked awful. The play he got hurt on, I don't know if you saw it. He had a wide receiver, the Pickens or Hayward wide open.
I think it was Hayward, right? Or no, it was Najee. He could have dumped it off to Najee, right? I think it was.
No, there was someone downfield wide open. He bails out of a clean pocket, runs into a sack himself, and hurts his knee on top of it all. Matt Canada should never have called that 4th down call, number one, because Najee had 9 carries for 55 yards that drive. Then you go away from him. I don't know what the hell's going on with the Steelers, but what time is it? Give me a time.
It is
6:45, October 1st, 2023. I am done with the Pittsburgh Steelers until Matt Canada is gone. Until this is me a little bit overreacting. Mike Tomlin's resting on his laurels. Every coach has an expiration date. Mike Tomlin's starting to turn a little bit. Starting to turn a little bit. I just don't see a motivated team. I don't see a motivated head coach. I see him spewing his bullshit every Tuesday and then having his team unprepared week after week after week. And in today's NFL, what you want to call the Steelers offense, you may as well go back.
Watch. That's about
You may
it.
wing T or a scrum offense.
No, wait, what's the other one called? They need the wishbone. The
Wishbone.
wishbone offense.
You can run the flex bone like the academies do. But
You know what?
I
This is before I end this, Dan. I just want you to know, I gave the Pittsburgh Pirates this treatment.
yeah.
I'm getting to the Steelers right now. I'm zoning out.
So here's my thing on, and I want your opinion on it, Mott's, real quick before you totally check out of this. Earlier in the week, last week actually, he said that their offense didn't have their mojo at his press conference, and that was it was before the Vegas game.
Yeah,
and then
go call Austin. Call Austin Powers.
Hold up. This week, he said at his press conference, I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was all the buzz for the local sports talk media, right? That he just said that, so they had so the media had some bulletin board material and can run with it. So what is it? What and I heard, and I'll give the guy credit. Adam Crowley said, what are you lying about then? If you're lying about that, then are you lying about your standard as a standard? Are you lying about next man up? What else are you lying about? If you could say, hey, oh, we didn't have our mojo one week, and then the week after you want to just go back on your word there and lie about it, what else are you lying about? To me, I wouldn't say he's a fraud. I wouldn't, because it's hard to win games in the NFL, and we all know that. And like you said, every coach has an expiration date, and the Steelers don't operate in that kind of way like any other team would, any other organization would. It's you get the job here and you do more than, better than all right, you no losing season and stuff. They take that into consideration. But when is enough mediocrity? When is it, hey, we want championships? And we've talked about it. I've beat my chest about it. I'll die on that hill. I wouldn't say that I was ever coming for his head, but I always thought maybe you needed to question where he's at and where he's taking your organization. You look at it up and down, all three aspects of a football game. They lose every single one every week. And, minus a heroic effort from your defense in week 2, you should have lost that game too.
Yeah, no. Yeah. If you're expecting your defense to win you games, you're in the wrong league. Number one. Number two, I don't think it is as much. I'm going to say on the Omar Khan and Andy Weidel, I think did a good job in the offseason this year, really retooling the roster. I definitely think from a talent perspective, they're better than where they were last year. But it's just, I saw a good comparison. It feels like, and this was on Twitter, I forget who said it. It feels like Mike Tomlin's in the Andy Reid stages of when he was in Philadelphia.
Okay,
just kind of going through the motions. He's resting on his laurels. It's time to bring some new blood in, because Dan Moore, I mean, people want to say, oh, the advanced analytics don't favor him, blah, blah, blah. The guy sucks. You look at the eye test. Thanks. Roderick Jones, who you traded up in the first round to get, a Georgia product, who you see all these Georgia products, Jordan Davis or Jalen Carter this year, Jordan Davis, I think last year for the Eagles, they're right there in there. They're playing. Broderick Jones should have been starting. I don't care that he's facing Myles Garrett. If you're trading up in the first round for a franchise left tackle, that's someone who should be a day one starter. Number two, how many times does Levi Wallace have to get cooked? Okay, he had 2 interceptions.
And Peterson, because he's also getting cooked left and right.
Joey Porter Jr. If you're going to have a
first round picks that aren't playing, that's high draft capital. That's young guys that need to be getting the experience right here, right now. You're not looking good with these older guys. The line isn't looking good. The cornerback sure as hell aren't looking good. What is the difference going to be between these young guys getting the experience and leaving these old dogs in there?
If you're going to develop them, Joey Porter Jr., who has the length and speed, which makes him very unique from a cornerback perspective, I would rather see him in there taking his bumps and learning than seeing someone that's washed getting cooked week after week, or that can't match up. If they're targeting Nico Collins and whoever's guarding him, whether it's Peterson or Wallace, if Nico Collins is torching you, you may pull Vontae Davis just retired. Was that in Buffalo? He just said, "Yep, I'm cooked."
He's like, "It's a young man's game. I gotta go." And he just left the
If you're getting cooked by, and this is like I said, Nico Collins is a good wide receiver. He's not a great wide receiver yet. I think he will be pretty good. He's shown this year he's breaking out. But if you're getting cooked by him right now, you might want to hang it up. And The Steelers, they just don't have it. There's no juice on that team.
Here's here's where I'm gonna preface what I'm about to say. I love the Steelers. I love football. I love watching football. I'm gonna tune in every week. After a game, I'm gonna say I'm never gonna watch them again. You know very well I'm gonna be watching them come Sunday or Monday or Thursday, or if they make playoffs in December, Saturday. Uh, that being said, this was a very tough team to watch today. There's bad teams and then there's bad teams. And I'm kind of wishing and hoping that the Steelers, even though that they're bad and scrappy, but we didn't even see that today. There's no fire, there's no edge, there's nothing. And I think the biggest disappointment was circling back to Mike Tomlin a bit, was with about 8 minutes left in the game, fourth and, maybe 3, 4, you got to go for it there. They just punted. And it ended up, they scored two more times after that. I think it was 16-6, maybe 16-20 something. I don't know. I don't remember the score. 23-6. I don't know. But you got to go for it there. Like you're not gonna get the ball back until like 3 minutes left, which they did. But like at that point, you're just rolling over and like saying, "Rub my belly." Uh, it was just a sad game. Like those are two sad field goals.
Oh, we don't live in our fears. I'm
Right,
just being
right.
We don't live in our fears.
That's a lie. It's a bold-faced
That's
lie.
gonna get real old real quick.
Yep.
Stuff like that's all fun and games when you're winning and you're a good team, but and we've seen mediocrity for a decent while now. With the three teams in Pittsburgh that we have, I'd say the way we tolerate BS. You know, Pirates are down here. We tolerate like the most from them. And then the Penguins have, they've brought it up, but the Steelers, that's where we're going to start tolerating like the least antics.
Yeah.
And we're in a unique scenario with Tomlin. We didn't know what was going to happen when he had his own quarterback from scratch. He inherited Big Ben, 18 years. His pretty much Tomlin's whole career is with Big Ben. Yeah, whole career.
His whole career. Yes.
Yeah, we've never had this situation with him, and maybe he isn't the kind of coach that can develop a quarterback. So, and Kenny needs to figure it out. He's 25. That's why you drafted him that early, because he was league ready.
Yeah.
And I'm really not seeing that right now. A couple bad throws. That interception was horrible. Calvin Austin throwing a jump ball to a guy that's 5'9" with two guys guarding him. That's an Allen Robinson throw. That's not a Calvin Austin throw. But just the miss on Hayward in the end zone, that's a big red flag, though, too. I noticed that. Like, I don't notice stuff like that too often, but, if I'm seeing that stuff on the analytics side, that's kind of bad.
There were multiple times that Houston blew coverages, but he got antsy. He got happy feet. And that comes back to the point I want to make. If you look at it, CJ Stroud had a pretty clean day. No sacks taken. So,
they were playing fast. The 3 seconds balls out of his hands.
Our world-class defense couldn't get home on them, and it showed that there's so many holes in that secondary, especially across the middle. Like, that is embarrassing for tight ends and running backs to come out of the backfield to just live in the middle of the field, or receivers to come on crossing routes, posts and routes like that, and just be wide open, and there's no defender there. Pickett threw it to Pickens up the one sideline, right on the numbers. And if Pickens would have put his foot down and just went straight, he would have got the first down. It was right before he got hurt on that fourth down. It was 4th and 1. But regardless, if you look, there was 4 red jerseys as soon as he caught that ball. If you look on the flip side, when we're on defense and there's a 15, 20-yard completion, there might be 1, 2 white jerseys. I don't know if we're in nickel and we should be in dime. I got to go back and start watching film on these guys, because that is pathetic. The amount of just green grass with no defenders in a 10-yard vicinity, it's disgusting. And I'm not one to harp on the zebras too much, but there were a couple ticky-tack calls, like the one on Freiermuth. They called him for offensive pass interference. They didn't call that. That killed that drive. They didn't call that one on Jalen Warren getting face masked. That killed that drive. regardless, you still got to make you got to execute your plays and stuff like that. And you can't be having the most 3-and-outs in the league right behind the Cincinnati Bengals, which they fell from grace as well. It's just it's so frustrating to watch this team because as soon as I'm sorry, I'm going on my rant now.
Go.
When you receive your first possession of the first half and Houston just marched it down your throat and you go 3-and-out and you sit there as a fan on your couch, on your love seat, on your lazy boy, wherever you're sitting watching it at the bar, and you just get this feeling it's gonna be a 3-and-out. As soon as they get the ball, your defense is already gassed. They were already out there for 7-8 minutes. You have to respond immediately. You gotta take a 7-minute drive there. You gotta have a 15-play drive. But right now, it's not in the cards, and it's ridiculous. This offense is so predictable that even on play action, they try to get some play action going. He fakes it to Najee. He drops back. The linebackers are already bailing because they know it's a play action because you can't establish the run. But as soon as you establish the run, they keen in on that, and you can't throw anything because they got everybody man on man, and they'll load the box, and your receivers can't get open. So it's a lot on the receivers not getting open. Kenny Pickett playing like dog shit. Matt Canada, your play calling is bullshit. Mike Tomlin, you're chicken shit. Where's that? Simple.
He is. You know what I think we're witnessing, honestly? Kenny Pickett, I think, he's seeing ghosts, number one. Number two, he might just be Sam Darnold 2.0 at this point.
Yeah.
He's an older rookie quarterback, obviously. He's big time regressed from where he was. And I look at that, I don't see a franchise quarterback there. I truly don't. So maybe it's good. If you get a top 10 pick next year, are you in the market for a franchise quarterback?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Look at the class coming out this year. You got Caleb Williams, you got Drake May.
Bo Nix.
Yeah. Bo Nix is old.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kid from Washington. I watched his highlights.
Get them both.
How about that McCarthy from Michigan?
There's plenty of them.
JJ McCarthy.
Does Penn State have any? Is he a
He's
senior? No, sophomore.
Yeah.
Maybe the kid from Florida State. I don't know how old he is, but I'm sure there's a deeper class than when we got Kenny, and I thought Kenny was the best quarterback available in that draft. Because if you look at Malik Willis, he ain't playing.
Desmond Ridder looks better than Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
But they just fall off.
If you're gonna pick 6 in the Toy Story game, retire. Sorry, Desmond Ridder.
I watched. Did you guys watch it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first 5 minutes was just the biggest glitch of all time.
It was
they
Frozen.
just had creepy Booger McFarlane animated, smiling, and then they had Slinky Dog behind him.
Yeah.
That was awesome though. That was actually entertaining. I watched maybe a decent bit of the first quarter.
Yeah.
And then it couldn't keep my attention. I'm sorry.
Well, it's not
for
it wasn't for us as an audience.
Though.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I think I have kids, so me and Owen, I was trying to get him to watch it. He wasn't too into it, but seeing the Slinky Dog and all the Toy Story characters and stuff, he thought it was pretty cool. And then the questions they would ask, but what commercial breaks.
I was getting in on those. I was like, is that 16 and 16? NFC, AFC. I was in on those. That's they should do that more with commercials when they're not ever good.
No,
but do you think it is going to resonate more with kids? Do you think it's going to make it easier for them to watch?
Because if you look back,
if you're going to do that, don't put Desmond Ridder on. You're trying to introduce
that one cool moment is that Bijan Robinson juke where the guy just flew the other way. Yes. That was pretty cool. What else was? I think the one touchdown pass looked kind of glitchy from Trevor Lawrence to Christian Kirk.
The Trevor Lawrence scamper was pretty good. That was a good one. I thought it was all right. You got to hit different audiences. You know what I mean? And
I wish I would have had that when I was growing up. That'd been cool to watch every now and then.
Yeah. Well, I know last year they did the Nickelodeon one, and that was a hit.
I don't think it's not that though. They just do graphics on the field. It's not like animated players.
The Nickelodeon one? No, it was animated. Yeah.
Was it like football?
Yeah, it was football.
Really?
They did it twice last year.
They just did like
they did
I
hockey
they
as
just
well.
had it like Slime Zone and stuff.
No, they did the
AI like players.
Yeah, but it was like Nickelodeon characters like running the offenses and stuff. It was pretty cool. But as long as it'll appeal to kids and get them interested in the game or whatever, you know.
What the stats look like on that one?
What's that?
I wonder what the stats look like for like viewership.
I'm not sure. I'm sure because I couldn't find the game anywhere else. What was it on, like NFL Ticket or whatever?
Yeah, it was on ESPN Plus.
ESPN Plus and Disney Plus. I have Disney Plus, so I was like, okay. But that's all going to be fun and games until like there's something crazy that happens on the field. Like, what happens when there's a fight? You know, fight helmet to helmet. You know, guys laying there like concussed.
Just like Woody with like a broken leg laying there.
What do you do there? Like, if the announcer's like, he's got a boo boo. Like, you have the little crane machine pick him up and take him off.
They were getting chippy, and Booger even said like, "Oh, you're gonna have that in games. You know, some trash talk, some smack talk. Hopefully it doesn't get physical." And I guess there was some pushing and shoving, but they kept it under wraps for the most part. But the Jags love playing over there in England to begin with, so that's like their second home.
They have a good fan base over there.
They played the most games out of any NFL team over there. What was that, 10? Fan base over there. It was like their 10th game. Yeah. They play there next week, too, so they'll have a leg up on the Bills coming in, flying in.
Urban Meyer's disappointed he's still not coaching there. Get some fish and chips while you're feeling up a few college women, Urban?
Yeah. While he's feeling a couple Buckeyes, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you got a wife at home, buddy.
That's Steelers, honestly, that's such a big disappointment. No fight, like even with on any side of the.
Here's my question. All you heard all week was this makeshift offensive line that the Huston Texans are going to have, and how many sacks there's Watt and Highsmith going to have combined. Oh, they're going to set sack records for the game. They didn't get a single one. Not one.
Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this is like an underestimated, the Steelers underestimated what they had. They saw the rookie quarterback. They saw that makeshift line. They saw, the Texans aren't a good team, which, maybe they aren't that bad. And, maybe this is like the classic Tomlin game where they go in and just blow a game. He thought that's against the Raiders.
Yeah.
In their defense, though, if you see Kendrick Green starting on an NFL offensive line, it's pretty hard to underrate that. But a big part of it, I think, honestly, was the Texans' game plan, especially the first half. The Steelers brought the pressure, but those screens to Damian Pierce really made him back off. Landon Roberts kind of got exposed in coverage a lot, which, hey, it opened it up. Credit to the Texans. Yeah. Their game plan is great.
Yeah. And you know where their offensive coordinator comes from? Kyle Shanahan's system. Makes sense, huh?
Matt Canada's background, Tequila Cowboy with Todd Haley. I think they were probably in the little red Corvette drawing up plays.
Doesn't it make sense? I mean, you scheme up what you need to expose the defense that you're playing, and score points and move the ball. But
that's true.
It's ridiculous that it's such an offensive heavy game now. Every penalty is geared towards helping the offense. Pass interferences or spot fouls, stuff like that. You breathe on a quarterback wrong, you're going to get a roughing the passer. There's just so many things out there that stack up against the defense. Why wouldn't you want to have a very offensive-minded coach or one that has a high pedigree that came through somebody's system, like an Andy Reid system or a Kyle Shanahan system? Somebody like that. I don't get it. I don't.
Honestly, I don't know if you guys saw on Friday night, were any of the Steelers at Luke's wedding? Because it looked like they were all pretty hungover.
They might have been.
We're showing more fight today than they did on the field. And we're just sitting here rambling.
You're not wrong. Honestly. You're not wrong.
That just is like a deflating game, like as a fan. There's nothing positive like on you can draw off that. Like, no one looked good on either side. Like,
I mean, Brad Wing is your punter. He hasn't punted with the Steelers since
He did fine.
2015.
He did fine.
I mean, still, like,
know,
that's just it was a weird game.
So if you type in Pittsburgh Steelers on Google right now, you just click on it, you look at the box scores, right? I'm going to go to team stats. And the first thing that pops out, I know 30-6, you get trounced. You don't score a single touchdown. 451 yards to 225. That right there is the biggest glaring number. You could, if you want me to break it down, passing yards and rushing yards, I can, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah. With those two numbers, that just tells you who controlled the ball.
Time of possession is probably crazy too.
Not right? Really. It's not really? Not as different as you think. 32 minutes and 35 seconds to 27 minutes and 25 seconds. What is that? 5 minutes difference.
Yeah.
It's not that much, right? But the glaring number to me is the 451 to 225. It showed you who did what they wanted to, when they wanted to, where they wanted to, how they wanted to. And it's not like Houston was out there hitting these big bangers, right? Saw the stat. Yeah. It was into the second quarter. It was plays over or 10 yards plus, and Houston had, I think, 7 or 8. We didn't have one. And you don't take a snap in the first half over the 50-yard line.
Here's the thing. After halftime, when things are still looking the same, that's really bad.
Yeah.
Halftime is your adjustment time. Any good coach, like, worth his pot to piss in, is going to have, like, something that switches it up. Or, like, a big kind of scripted drive, at least when you get the ball back at half. It's going to, like, kick your team into gear. There was really none of that. Like, it was sad. It was shameful. It's going to be a long week for, Mike Tomlin, Matt Canada, as it should be. And if I'm sick of saying if they don't pick it up, something should happen. This is the week when something should happen. If you want anything to change, you got to make a move here. Matt Canada gone. He needs to be gone this week. That's over. We've had the discussion for 3 weeks now, 4 weeks. It's got to happen. Like, it's at this point, it's got to happen. We can't keep getting away with this. Can't keep getting away with this.
And apparently, the only thing that, I mean, this is my last thing for the Steelers on the day because I had to watch that. I'm sick of talking about that putrid performance. When I saw Kenny Pickett get hurt, in the back of my mind, I knew, I'm like, someone's going to be clamoring. DJ Oberdorf is typing. Mason Rudolph time. He has been chomping at the bit for Mason Rudolph to get in the game.
Honestly, give him a chance. Like, if Kenny Pickett doesn't play, put him out there. Like, he might have some fight in him.
Yeah.
Give each one a half. Yeah, give Mason a half. Give Trubisky a half. I don't care.
Here's the thing you're going to get out of Mason is like an audition to another team to go be the backup, not the third string backup. But it's
if that's the thing. If it gets you another win, go right ahead. I don't care.
Why? At this point, sink the ship. I'm tired of it. Don't let Cam play the rest of the year. Deontay, you don't come back till 2 games left.
Yeah, we need Cam back. We need Cam.
But is that back. One guy gonna? You would hope that Leal could step up a little bit. He did a few times.
He did before.
Here's the other thing, and I don't know if you guys
lean on him that long. No. You can't lean on guys like that long.
And I don't know if you guys watched games the way I try to. When I'm seeing a lineman locked up with another lineman, and we're on defense, and Cole Holcomb comes up and is coming to fill the hole, but gets chipped by that lineman that's already blocking a defensive lineman. That's bad. You should not have one guy block 2 guys. You can't have that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of piss poor linebacker play, and I thought the linebacker core was revamped. It's just as bad as it was last year and the year before.
I think the Steelers fans held the Steelers to too high of a standard this year. Like, they inflated the expectations way too high. Like, I'm looking back at it now. Like, they were thinking, like, Super Bowl, like, after preseason, like, Super Bowl, or at least, playoffs. And, like, even us, we were saying playoffs or bust, honestly. That was, like, the floor. Or, like, the floor was last game, maybe contend for a playoff spot. Like, floor might be, top 5 draft pick. I might be looking at getting a new quarterback because I don't see it with Kenny Pickett anymore. whatever was there last year, like it ain't there anymore. At least for this past 4 weeks, he ain't showing it. The only things that have saved him the past couple weeks are those home run plays. So the long touchdown by Pickens a couple weeks back, and then the long touchdown by Calvin Austin last week. And no home run plays this week to save him. Like,
there wasn't any the first week either.
Yeah, and that was a horrible game too.
Yeah. So I mean, if you can hit them home run plays, great. But you need to hit one or two of them a week, but because they can't sustain a drive, they just can't.
No.
And here's the other thing:
a team like that, they gotta chew the clock.
Yeah.
They gotta play a lot like the Falcons that they play.
Yeah.
Run the ball down your throat, but we don't have the line to do it.
Nope.
And like the game management, we just can't control the game. Like there's not many points this year where I've felt like the Steelers had control of the game. Nope. Even the games they've won, it's always been down to the wire. So it's just crazy. I think it's the worst Steelers team I've ever seen.
I lost all hope today. It was at 4th and 1, and we came out in a shotgun set after you call a timeout to talk about it. Najee was running people over today. He really was. He was running hard downhill. After
what happens when you get him? Like he had a few holes to go through.
Yeah,
today.
he got going.
He didn't have to go to the line of scrimmage and throw 3 guys off him before he could hopefully pick up 2 yards.
You line up in shotgun and 4th and 1 right then and there. I knew they weren't picking it up. First off, and second off, I knew that game was over. Because at that point, you come out in your heaviest set you can. You say we're gonna outwill you, kind of like Philly does with the tush push.
That's what I was calling. I was calling for the push play. I was like, give me the tush push. And we came out in that shotgun is basically a draw.
Right. So
Najee draw.
Kenny dropped back to throw it.
Which one are you thinking of?
The one he got hurt on.
Oh yeah.
It was 4th and 1.
That's what I thought. Because they called a timeout there before that.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
So you come up and you say, we're going to outwill you. We're going to outman you. And they didn't.
That just shows that, not even the personnel have confidence in their players. Like, not even the coaches have confidence they can pick up, 1-2 yards?
Yeah.
Or, a close play like that?
If you have a veteran quarterback like Ben, I bet you Ben audibles out of that, gets under center, and hands it off to Najee. You know what I mean? But
or takes it himself. He's like, just push forward, I'll get you there.
You know? He never really liked sneaking though, even though he was 6'7". He didn't like to. But that's my thing. Right then and there, I knew they're playing scared. Hand it to the horse that's gotten you this far. So this drive, you were sustaining a drive, and then you just turned it over on downs. I'm done with the Steelers today.
Going the rest of the year, there's honestly, we say there's gimme games or inferior opponents. There are no inferior opponents.
Nope.
There are none,
Wait till the Ravens come up here and run all over us next week.
Embarrassment. Having to sit through a whole Pirates season kind of, and then this, it's a real disheartenment. The Penguins got to be good. They've got to be good this year.
At least the Penguins get a pass because A, they're always competitive, and B, they have 3 Stanley Cups with this team.
But they just for the mood of the city and for the mood of the pod, they've got to be good.
Because it ain't. I'll tell you one thing: it's not going to be Pitt football.
No,
just
they're not winning another game.
Got to be good.
Shout out Roland Lovelace first.
Career. Congrats. Yep.
Hometown kid right there.
Congrats.
Yeah.
That team's not going to win another game this whole year, and that breaks my heart as well. Because then I got to watch them stink it up on Saturdays, and I got to watch the Steelers stink it up on Sundays. It's so frustrating.
You come on Penn State.
I don't think I can bring myself to do that.
I was at Ross today.
Don't do it, Dan. You know why?
Why?
Undefeated right now.
Right.
You bye week, UMass, and then
lose the bye. Are they going to win the bye, or are they going to lose the bye?
As a seasoned Penn State fan, Ohio State, Michigan coming up. James Franklin can't do it. This is where the season. This is where it falls apart.
So you're at the peak of the Phantom's revenge right now. You're about to crest it. You got what, UMass next week?
Yeah.
So you'll just
the bye and then UMass.
Who's the bye this week?
Is it UMass and then bye or bye and then UMass?
You guys run a bye this week.
I think it's the bye and then UMass.
Oh no, you weren't on a bye this week. That's right.
In Northwestern.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, because they didn't have any fans. They practiced all week with no music.
Yeah.
So in a couple weeks, you'll be coming down that hill, where it's crashing down.
Hopefully they split Ohio State, Michigan. Best case scenario, they win both. I feel like they can. I feel like I'm more confident in them in this year than ever. I was confident in them last year too, for whatever reason. Even though I knew I had my gripes about Sean Clifford, who he's honestly serviceable. We did give him a lot of guff, but he was serviceable and he earned himself a second string job in Green Bay. Which, hey, more power to him. Congratulations, like an old man like that getting out of college in 6 years and being a second stringer. That's a feat on its own. But I'm excited for college football. It's always a team I can lean on because Penn State's always at least decent. They're gonna win some games.
Did you guys happen to see the LSU Ole Miss game last night?
Ole Miss won, yeah.
Oh, it was phenomenal. I watched the whole damn thing. Daniel Tosh was on the sideline for Ole Miss, but it was Lane Kiffin.
College
but
football is awesome,
dude, it was great.
Like the rivalries, like I'm all in this year. Like it's so good. The storyline, all so much better than the NFL.
We got Red River next week.
The rivalry, everything.
We got Red River next week.
That linebacker from LSU or
what's next week?
Louisiana Tech gets suspended indefinitely.
Yeah, he stomped on that guy.
Legend killer.
Yeah,
that's just disgusting.
Yeah.
And the dude from Georgia, what's his name? He's electric. The receiver.
Oh, the tight end, Brock Bowers.
Yeah. I watched that game too. They squeaked that one out.
Power name like Bowers, like
Brock
rhymes with power. Like you're gonna run someone over. But college football is awesome. I love seeing low A NCAA teams come into these blue blood schools like beginning of the year just getting stomped. Like that's awesome. Like you'll get some highlights there. But everything's just been cool. I'm excited for bowl season. I'm usually the other way around. Like I'll have like NFL games on. Like I'm all in on college. Like college football is just awesome this year. So I feel like it's wide open. It's more wide open than ever.
It is.
Dan knows what I'm ready for college football wise.
Action.
Action on a Tuesday night.
I want to fall asleep watching Bowling Green and Northern Illinois in an absolute bloodbath. That is where I'm like, yeah, it's football season now, baby.
It's coming up.
Back in the day, you know what else was my second favorite? Saturday night, the late games. You turn it on.
Hawaii.
Yeah. Brown or Timmy Chang just throwing absolute nukes. Oh,
Do you guys feel like the balls fly a little different in college?
I'll tell you what.
I feel like
fly different on Saturday night whenever you got Hawaii and Nevada squaring off.
Look at this.
You know why it flies different?
The classic college ball flying in the air. It has like a little flutter to it. It feels like it's carrying a little more. Like the NFL ball, it's like a straight line laser, like tight.
Well, that's because whenever they're thrown in college, it's actually a scientific fact that the winds of autumn carry that football. Yeah.
No, you want the actual scientific fact behind it?
Yeah.
The white half rings on the college ball lets you see that it's not a tight spiral. If they had those on NFL balls as well, they would look exactly the same, but they want it to be appealing to the eye of people watching it. So they take the white ring off of there. So every pass,
it's like fluttering.
But every pass looks like a laser, even though it might be a wounded duck. It still looks like a laser because you can't break it up with that white on there. Yes, that's exactly why they don't have the white stripe on there.
The white stripes, like it gives you a little anticipation, like where is it going to end up? This one's wobbling a bit. I don't know. I didn't know that. It's kind of crazy.
Yep.
I've seen like a decent bit of footballs in my life, like going down like a sporting good aisle or something. I never thought like a white stripe and then not. You know what they need? They need to start a football league with just the Nerf like footballs that you can just whale and make a football field that's 200 yards, like a 0 to 200 yarder, or like 100 and then 100. Like the 50-yard line is actually a 100-yard line, and just give them that because you could throw that thing like 100 yards. No running, no QB sneaks either. just like some gunslinger just unloading. No pads either.
It was Jared Lorenzen, rest in peace, still alive. I would immediately buy his jersey if there was a league like that because the hefty lefty would be absolutely slinging that shit. I freaking love watching.
Was that the kid from Kentucky?
The little finger like button thingies.
That's the prime Nerf football, Ryan.
Do they still make them that way?
With the whistle
America's
on it?
Not a proper country anymore.
Which one, Ryan? I didn't hear you.
It has like the finger holes are like the little ovals. Strip that goes over it. And it's like little ovals.
Oh, I don't.
Neon orange.
Yeah, I don't think so. I like the ones that whistle with the tail on it.
Yeah,
those ones were all right.
Well, that's when America was a proper country. That's part of the reason.
Yes.
We won't be a proper country until they bring those footballs back.
The drills were a little smaller though, right? They were just like a smaller ball.
They were only like this long, and this much was the tail.
And then the ball was actually like that big.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't too fond of those. Those were like a backup.
I had a black and red one. I could have at the ripe age of 13, I could have probably thrown that thing 90 yards.
Those were like, I'd say those were like a top tier throwing ball. Yes. Like if you're just throwing and catching, but if you're playing like on like the playground or wherever, I don't think it's a good ball to play with. Like the tail gets in the way. Like you can just go up there and snag it one hand by the tail, like Harry Potter Golden Snitch or something.
You guys ever have the half ball and you throw it against the wall and it come back at you?
What did it look like? Was it like flat?
Half of the ball was flat, and the other half was a half of football. It was made out of leather, and there was air in it.
Really?
Yeah. So like, if you didn't have somebody to play with, you just go throw it at a wall, like a brick wall, and come right back at you, tight spiral and everything.
You ever have the ones that were like, every kid says this, and everyone has the same thought. It's like the half and half football, top half and bottom half are like two colors, and it's foam, like the whole thing's foam. And like every kid just thought it would taste so delicious.
Yes,
like take a bite.
Yes.
And I've thought that when I was a kid, but I never did it. And I was like, dude, this gotta taste great. It was like either yellow and orange, or like purple and blue, or red and blue.
I had yellow and blue. I had a yellow and a blue one. And
I think I had a red and blue.
It didn't taste that great. Didn't taste that great at all.
Because then you'd play with it and it'd just have random holes in it, but just from like wear and tear, and it would just get annoying. And there's no good way to throw those things either. Those things would never have us fun.
No.
I'm gonna be honest though. I'm tapped out for today. That's just me personally. You guys can keep going, but after watching that absolute show, I have nothing left in the tank for today. Sorry.
So that's okay.
That's all right. We'll finish it off strong for you here, Motts.
Wrap her up.
Yep, you go rest up, buddy.
Oh, I'm gonna. I'm dying right
now. I see you.
My face is like turning around. I'm just like, I think I'm getting a fever, honestly.
Probably.
Gassed.
It happens.
I feel like Hampton after a sprint. Finish her off, boys.
We will.
I don't even know how to continue after that.
I actually wanted to touch on the Pittsburgh Pirates real quick, and I know he wouldn't want to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. I'm surprised you want to.
Well, they finished the season today on a high note.
Oh, yeah,
they won.
They need to have a little recap.
Yep, they won. Finished the year 76 and 86, so 10 under 500. So it was way better than last year. So what was the over under total? Was 67.5 in Vegas.
Yeah.
And you said what, 69? I said under.
I thought they were even like 90.
Okay. I said 69. I think I took him at 69. Your brother took him at under 67.5. So we were correct, but they won almost 9 games more than what I thought. After a hot start.
One of their best players too.
Yep. Hot start, bad 2-3 months, and then they finished strong. They finished real strong. They did. I think their last 50 games, they might have been playing 500 ball. So if they could have done that all year, they'd have been fighting for a playoff spot. So
I'd say their best month was probably, obviously, April, May-ish?
Yeah, April.
I'd say, honestly, September was a good month for them.
August was pretty good too.
Even just a hopeful September with Brian Hayes. You know, he played phenomenal.
Yeah.
Sawinski, he picked it up. He was doing so bad in he was. I think July, August, around there. Like that was a bad slump, but he turned it around. I don't know. Uh,
Brian
who
Reynolds.
else did
Brian
okay?
Reynolds started coming on strong. The big bright spot for me is Mitch Keller and Johan Oviedo taking the ball 32 times this year.
Yeah,
The most that they can. Mitch Keller also 210 strikeouts, the most by a right-handed pitcher in the Pittsburgh Pirates organization history, which is, you like to see that from your ace, your all-star. So them two are something to build off of. You need a DH, a first baseman, a center fielder, and a couple arms. But I think if you get Skeens up here nice and early, maybe if you can
yeah.
have Luis Ortiz kind of figure something out. As long as they
Knicks
play,
had a big signing, you know.
yeah,
They need
and
to sign a couple guys. They need
they
a
do.
first baseman.
Yes.
A lot of people are saying Triolo would work out at first. I'm not sure if that is the answer. His bats look good. You know, he's not a bad player, but I see him more as like that utility, like Josh Harrison. You know, plug that guy
Yeah.
in.
So with your first baseman, you want a power guy there. First
He doesn't
base,
have much.
no. First base, third base, center field. You want like boppers there. You want guys that are going to hit 30 home runs. They're going to have 70 to 80 RBIs. And I don't know if I'd be okay with sacrificing a really good glove and an average bat. Your average bat's going to come from guy unless you get Cruz back, where
Because we
that
need
would
runs, though. You
that
know,
would
more
yeah
than the defense.
yes
Because right now, the biggest thing is, well, obviously pitching, but we need more quality bats than ever. Like,
correct
more often than not, it's the lack of run support than if we have a quality pitcher out there. Like, we can't talk too much on the pitching to a certain point. The guys that we got that we know are here for next year are, serviceable, could have a climb, Keller and
yes
Oviedo, like we said. But it's hard to get a read on when you need run support and you have guys starting like Osvaldo Bido or,
yeah
people like that.
yeah
So, like, I'm not willing to sacrifice, like you said, like good hitting for a better glove.
yeah. I think
As
if it would be easier for them to maybe move Davis there, let him play
Mhm.
there, because I think Endy is fine behind the plate. Honestly, he's phenomenal. His bat's okay as well. But I think if you put Henry Davis at first, it's easier to find a right fielder that's serviceable, maybe like Palacios or G1 Bay, Connor Joe, somebody like that.
Palacios made a statement for being in the lineup next
Right,
year, or
right.
at least being a guy that could play a couple days a week.
They'd have to re-sign him. But
I would. I hope he's on
why
the team
not?
next year. I like everything about
He
him.
brought the excitement.
I was his biggest critic for a little while, and I think he brings it.
I think he seized every opportunity he was given. And another bright spot is that Andre Jackson that they got in the Rule 5 pick from the Dodgers. And they put him in some decent leverage situations too. And he was just a rookie. He was just a guy trying to find his legs. And I think he pitched just fine. And if you can get, I think, did he start today? Was he today's starter? Maybe
I did not pay attention today.
I think he might have been today's starter, and he might have went 4. Let me look here real quick.
I was all in on Steelers today. I didn't watch
Yeah,
much of
he
that.
went. He was the starter today. Went 4 innings, gave a 1 hit, 1 base on ball, and had 2 strikeouts. So if maybe you could build on that and let him be, your 5th starter, that wouldn't be bad.
Maybe like a middle reliever.
Yep.
Maybe
A long guy. That I'm cool with, because that was his role this year, was like a long guy sucking up them innings. But to even get him because they put him in there in leverage situations late in the game for 2-3 innings, but they let him start this one, and Osvaldo Bido pitched fine too. So
he's had his days.
yes.
He's hit or miss. He's very streaky. Like, what am I going to do today? Like, he either has it or he really doesn't.
Yes.
But I feel like at the end of the day, this is going to be the most interesting offseason we've ever had to see like what free agents are signed, what potential trades there are. We could see a couple guys getting moved. Like I could see Sawinski getting moved maybe.
Possibly.
Or guys like that.
Yeah.
But there's just a kind of a big leap that needs to be taken next year between developing that young talent, like your Endies, your Davises. Like you have a full offseason with these guys that are going to be up next year. Like a lot of this wasn't clear last year during the offseason. Like, we didn't know if Endy would even be up here. But he had, like, such a quick track to the majors.
Yes.
He flew through, what, double and triple this year?
Yeah. Well, he was who? Endy?
He was in Altoona, and then he went to Indy, and then he was up here.
Endy
That's pretty
was
quick for a young guy like that.
Yeah. Same with Henry Davis.
Coming up as quick as he did.
Yes. Yes.
He was drafted in what, 20? 21.
21. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was only that.
Pretty
Yeah.
quick for a guy to come up. So we haven't seen these guys like what they're very able to do yet. They've had their bright spots, they've had their dark moments, but I think it's going to be a big opportunity to have a way better baseball team next year and potentially compete. Like, we knew this year we should have maybe potentially competed, but things happen. Cruz goes down, which he's still unproven.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think this season was the season that, hey, Hayes did prove himself. I think he did. I think he proved himself as a good bat. Definitely, he's always had the glove. Like, there's no question about that.
Absolutely.
But I think him and Reynolds kind of proved themselves this year. They had, bad moments, but I feel like they did prove themselves as the future, two cornerstones of the team. But we need that third one with Cruz, so that's to be continued, seeing what he can do.
Absolutely. I think if you build off of those two guys with O'Neill Cruz, then Endy Rodriguez and Henry Davis, all these guys are young, and you have a lot of them under contract for a very long time. And also, Mitch Keller proved himself. So I that's a bright spot as well.
And he had like the most wins since like what do you have? He had something most strikeouts maybe.
Yeah, 210 strikeouts is the most strikeouts by a right-handed pitcher in the Pirates organization. He beat AJ Burnett had like 209, so he beat him by 1. So
Cole left-handed then?
No, they never let him just go and mow people down. That was the problem with Garrett Cole. They just told him pitch the contact. And then he goes to Houston and has 240 strikeouts back-to-back years. You know what I mean? 250 strikeouts back-to-back years.
That's what I was wondering. That explains that.
Yeah, because that dude could just mow the lineup down. He's going to be the Cy Young for the NL. I bet up there in New York. He was phenomenal. But if you look back to last year, they finished 62-100. And then this year they're 76-86. I'll take that, because then if you
Honestly, any improvement, especially without having your one-star player the whole year, I'll take it.
That's a 14-game swing. So if you have another 14-game swing, you're over 500 next year. I know 4 games, but
you have your best player though. You should be able to with these guys developing with potential signings that are promised to us, which we I'll believe it when I see it, kind of deal. But here's the other thing that speaks volumes is having that improvement without a cornerstone player.
Yeah.
Because, the Pirates, we're not the Yankees. We're not the Red Sox. We're not the Giants. We're not the, I could go on for days and days.
Well, look at those 3 teams you just
mentioned.
mentioned.
Have a small market team that doesn't have the guy behind them that, hey, we stole them from, like Oakland or, just for a situation like this. Hey, there's no one behind Cruz.
No.
We had to plug in Alika Williams. We had to plug in like G1 Bay, Connor Joe.
I think Liover Peguero played just fine there at shortstop in his absence. I think he just played just fine. He's going to be your second baseman next year for sure.
Think so until what's his face comes up. I already forget his name. Tamar Johnson.
Yeah.
He could be there next year.
Possible.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
He skyrockets up to the leagues that we've seen.
He was pounding the slot out of the ball, so. And I know your brother was talking about the couple pitching prospects that are probably 2 years away, but you never know. If you start getting onto a run and start fighting for a wild card, you can fast track those guys if they're pitching just fine down there. So
we'll have to see Jared. What's his name? Jared Hughes?
I don't know. Jared Hughes was an old closer.
I'm trying to think of Jared Jones.
Jeez, and then there was another one. It was Bubba something.
How about Chandler?
Okay. See, I'm not great with names, especially like in the minors.
Me neither. I know like a couple. Yeah. Like the ones that I would have known are up now. So like Henry Davis's, your Endy Rodriguez, your Pegueros, the guys like that. And your Triolos.
That's it for the Buccos season. Thanks for getting us through the dog days of summer. Hopefully next year we have a better year.
Yeah, they did it. Hey, they were competitive till last week.
Yeah.
They weren't eliminated till
Nope.
maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yep. No, it
That's
was
a hell
last
of an
week.
improvement in my book.
Last week they were eliminated. It wasn't 2 weeks ago. It was last week. Our last pod we were talking about it.
That's what I was trying to think. Was
Yeah.
it this pod or 2
Yeah,
months ago?
it was last
But
pod.
hey,
So
I'll take it.
Yep.
Improvement.
Yep.
They exceeded my expectations for sure.
You and me both.
So hey,
I'll take it.
more power to them.
Yeah.
Honestly, the ball's in their court though. Like
Yeah.
as of now, like the ball's in your court. Make some signings, improve your roster, spend some money, like show you care.
Yeah.
Like open your checkbook, Bob.
Yeah, because it's been 5 years of this regime. You got to see you want to see results in 5 years, but we'll give you 6 because COVID and stuff like that. I understand, so we'll give you 6. You better be competitive next year, fighting for a wild card, if not, making it into the wild card. So
yeah, or a pennant.
Yeah. The Central's weak.
Division title.
The Central's not good, and it's not going to be.
The Reds regressed.
Yeah. And then you got to think
a slow start, but everyone thought they were the cat's meow going into, maybe late July.
Yeah.
Then August, they took the biggest tumble ever. I haven't been following, but they might have not even made playoffs, or did they?
No, the Reds didn't. No, I don't think so. Let me look.
Is it Cubs? Is it Cubs?
No, the Cubs got bounced last night.
So is it Diamondbacks? Well, let me try to think.
So
the Diamondbacks won, and then Giants maybe.
Well, I know the Brewers made it because they won.
Brewers are the division.
Yeah, they won the Central. The Cubs were eliminated. The Reds were eliminated. We were eliminated, and the Cardinals were eliminated. So, and the Cubs only won 6 more games than we did, or the Reds did.
That's bad with the roster they had. That's bad.
And then the Cubs
they're in a way different spot than us.
Right, and then the Cubs only won 7 more. No, the Cubs only won 7 more, and then the Brewers won.
Neither the Reds. The Reds are a little ahead of us in their rebuild too, but they didn't do that much better.
Yeah, they were only 2 games above 500. So, and Cubs were only 4 games above 500. So, yeah, it's a wide open division. It is. If you can go out and get the pieces you need and compete, you're gonna have a lot of eyes because that's what this town needs. It needs baseball back. It does.
Yeah, that was we've seen it. The throwback posts on Twitter of Russell Martin.
It was 10 years ago yesterday.
Stuff like that. The last out in that wild card game, those videos that's the stuff that gives you chills.
Yeah.
Like when you're from around here and you're into sports and sports being a way to pass time or take you out of the world for a minute. Those are the times that you remember, that where you were, who you were with. I don't know. It's just a core, emotional attachment. That's my city. That's my team. That's the team I grew up with. That's the team I grew up with watching with my dad, my grandpa, my brother. You're all invested in one thing, and it just needs more of that. We need the Buccos back more than ever.
And like I said, it was 10 years ago yesterday, the Cueto game where Russell Martin hit that home run. So I remember what I was doing. You know what I mean? And
yeah, I couldn't believe it happened. I was like, just that feeling of when he drops the ball, you're like, that's just a thing on its own.
You
getting in his head, but the next pitch just going yard on him, he can't write that stuff.
No, that stadium erupted.
There's some moments that give me chills like that. You feel them in certain ways. I also had the one where Steve Gordon hits the home run after Jose Fernandez.
Yes.
The guy did not have that much power in his bat. He hit one home run that whole year, and that was it.
Yeah.
Those are, I'm getting chills just talking about it. The human body and emotion in sports, just crazy situations, and it's it's very poetic, very beautiful. Sentimentally speaking, just very cool stuff. It's just kind of stuff you see on those YouTube montages.
Yeah.
The football games, the NFL, whenever a brother or something dies after, it's always that guy that scores.
Yeah.
Or
has a big game. Yeah. It's weird how spiritual it can get, you know what I mean? And how connected everything feels once you start putting the dots together, and then like you said, you start getting chills about stuff like that, and
something it's not meant to happen, but it just does, and it's the storyline behind it.
and like everything aligns, almost like the stars are aligning for that individual, and then like it happens, and it's like a great storybook moment. And like I get it, not everybody gets that moment, but the ones you hear about and the ones you do see, like sports brings that all together. You know what I mean? And
it brings you those moments where you don't think stuff like that actually happens. Like you see the movies, you see the TV shows, like like the sports movies where the guy hits like the grand slam to win it, but you're like, oh, this is just a movie. Stuff like that never happens. But when you see it live, like in person, like and it's not scripted, it's just like raw human like levels of stuff. Like it's just crazy.
Absolutely.
We don't even have it. We've been alive like 20 something years, like 30 years.
Yep.
Sports get crazier.
And that's the thing. There's a lot more to be written in sports, and I love it. That's the
one thing. Like you can have your TV shows, like there's certain shows like the time ends, the seasons are over, there's nothing left. But hey, with sports, there's always that next season.
Yep.
Like it never ends.
Yeah.
Well, unless you're like the Vegas or the Oakland A's and you're getting moved to Vegas, then your season ends. But or Atlanta Thrashers. Sorry, like your season ends. Yeah. But or potentially the Pittsburgh Pirates if they ever move. But that's a sentimental talk for the week. Sorry, Atlanta Thrashers fans or Seattle Supersonics fans.
Yeah. Quebec Nordiques,
Houston Oilers fans.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Or Hartford Oilers fans. Sorry.
Oilers, yeah. We keep going.
Or Pittsburgh Pipers or whatever they were. The Condors. Sorry.
Yeah. The Cleveland Browns. First time.
Yeah. Or Baltimore Colts.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You got a team back, so.
Yeah.
All right. You're all right. But hey, that's all I got.
Yeah, me too.
How are we looking?
We're an hour.
About an hour.
So, I just wanted to touch real quick. Pens some preseason games real quick. They not playing anybody really.
Looking, but
POJ was like the notable guy who played against the Wings, and they ended up losing them 4-3. And then the big guns played the other night against the Sabres and blew them out of town. So 3-1.
They probably had their big guns in too, right? They're a good young team.
Yeah. So it's Sid sporting the salt and pepper hair. I don't know if you saw it. I feel
his
old.
Silver years. That's what they're calling it. Like I hit Ovechkin pretty hard.
Yeah.
You should see on Crosby. Like it's just like that. Like he didn't have that last year.
No, not at all.
You think just like maybe had some just for men in there, and just like he's like, oh, I'm not doing that anymore.
Maybe
it don't happen that fast.
Well, yeah, you'd be surprised, bud. But Sid doesn't seem like the kind of guy who really cares about stuff like that. Remember all the times he had jacked up teeth and shit. He, broken jaw. He don't care, and especially about hair. I don't think he would really care. I think it shows that Silver Fox, he's seasoned and chiseled vet.
That's awesome though. It's like giving me like Gordie Howe vibes. He played till he was like what 80, like 70.
He was Silver
Fox. He was like 60 playing somewhere in like the Czech Republic.
He was the oldest guy playing in the NHL. I think he was late 40s. I don't know if he hit 50 and still played. He might have. He might have been the only one.
Holding up the cup with those strands of like silver in his hair, dude. That would be.
Oh yeah.
You need like a picture with all four on there.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Be sick.
From
I need that.
20 years old to 36. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
How old was he when he won his first one?
I think he was 20.
23.
No, I think he was 20.
Hold on, let me guess. It was probably right in between 20 and 21, depending on when he turned 18. Because that would have been like 06, 07. So whenever his birthday was, I bet you're right with 20 or 21.
So he's 36 now, and they won that one in 09.
23? 22. That's 14 years ago. So maybe 22, 21, 22.
Okay, 21, 22.
22, 23, depending on when birthday is.
That's right, because the year before he was the youngest captain to play in a finals, but then ended up being the youngest captain to hoist the Stanley Cup when they won it in 09. So yeah, we'll say 21, 22. Sure. Because his birthday's
in 87.
Yeah, 87, 87.
22, depending. So if his birthday's early, then he'd have been 22. But if his birthday was late, it would have been 21.
His birthday, he would have turned 21 or whatever, because it's 8/7. It's September 7th. August 7th, 1987.
So he wouldn't have been 20. He would have been 21.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's my little Pens tidbit. Let's go Pens. Thank God they're coming
Got
out.
my out there, left corner.
Yep.
Top left corner.
Hopefully they don't come out and shit the
Got
bed.
the flag behind me. I
Yep.
got the Stanley Cup champions flag over there, or towel from 2016.
They play meaningful games next week. They got they open with Chicago. Bedard show coming to town. So
wait, is it like game 1?
The 10th, I think it is.
Preseason done?
Preseason isn't done yet. They got like 2 more preseason games, and then they'll play the 10th, which is next week. They play next Tuesday, I think it is. Yeah, next Tuesday is their first official game of the season.
Next Tuesday.
Next
Dang,
Tuesday.
That came up quick.
Right.
We're
next
got
Tuesday.
more to talk about.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Lurs and Pucks. Pucks and Pucks is until April.
Yeah.
We'll get what? Lurs and I don't know, ice.
What
ice and grass. We'll still. What is it? What's it?
Whether
it's ice or grass,
we'll kick your ass. Yeah, something like that.
What is it? I forget.
I had it on a shirt.
All right, well,
but
that's the show. Youngzers season 2, episode 9. Thanks for tuning in. We'll get the socials going. I've been busy. I've been slacking a little bit. I'll put like one meme out a week. There's nothing to meme on. Like I'll put one thing out about the Steelers. Like the Buccos, they play like 4 or 5 times a week. You can only talk like crap on Matt Canada so many times a week. It's gonna get old.
Yeah, and you're gonna be one of them people.
I need some new material.
Yeah.
I need more material.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening. Like her up, share her up. Share her. I barely know her.
Oh.
But yeah. Tune in next week.